morning. It is the 10th day of May. Oh, yes. Well, I guess that day rings a bell to me. I think that is the anniversary of the late James and Claudine Burke, Mom and Dad. Okay, that's why that rings a bell to me. Happy birthday to my friend Greg down there in Florida. Mornings in Meridian, Roger B. along with say hi to Rob Atkinson.
We all are okay, I hope, this morning.
Yeah, I tell you what. You know, when that lightning flashes and kind of brightens up your bedroom at night, it just kind of makes you want to roll over and bury your face in the pillow so you don't see it.
I just kind of looked outside the window. I was like, cow! Another cow! No, I think that was the same one.
Oh, no. Cow. Another cow. No, that's just funny right there. I don't care who you are. All right. So, yeah, a little weather come through last night, which that's the way I like it. I like it. Thunderstorms at night. That way you've got the sunshine during the day.
Yeah.
Just the way I like it.
Yay for tornadoes at night. Yay.
Now, but the thing is, it does affect some of the daytime activities because we did receive word from Lauderdale County School System that Southeast and Clarkdale schools are going to be closed today because of power outages.
I tell you what.
And Andrea Williams, their PR lady, communications director. Let me get this right.
Yeah, get it right.
That's right. Andrea Williams, communication director, says that Clarkdale and Southeast schools will be closed today due to power outages, but the other schools in Lauderdale County, all other LCSD, Lauderdale County schools will be open.
Oh, man.
Yeah, those lucky people down there.
They're about to be done anyway, so because graduations are next week. So,
well, how much productivity is going on in the classroom right now?
Some, but not a lot.
Some, but not a lot. But anyway, I didn't, and thank goodness, you know, the power outage didn't affect us because that's how you get your information through the information through the power in the house. So,
yeah,
anyhow,
and also Enterprise School District is going to have a 2-hour delayed start this morning. Obviously, I mean everybody's dealing with trees down or, you know, power outages. And I always say this every time we get a storm system move through, kudos to the power folks battling out there. And I know out in our neck of the woods in Meehan, there was a lot of trees that were downed last night, and emergency management folks worked hard to get that cleared up. And, of course, do take it easy on some of these back roads here in Lauderdale County because there are still some smaller limbs that might be in the road, so just kind of take it easy and don't fly this morning. And you never know what you're going to come around a corner.
Little late advice for me there.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. No, but there was a limb down here just up the road from the radio station, but it wasn't on the road, but it was so close that if you didn't move a little bit, you could brush it. But yeah, you're right. Limbs and debris have been blown down onto the roadways.
Yeah, we had a small tree fall right beside our house. Good thing it didn't clip the house. But yeah, we had a little tree down, and I just noticed that coming in this morning is just you can tell where trees were cleaned up during the nighttime. Either the power crews trying to cut their way through to get power restored, or the emergency management folks in the county getting that squared away as well. So yeah, just take it easy this morning. Give yourself a few extra minutes, and like I said, just slow down a little bit, and get to work a little earlier today, maybe.
Yeah. We had pre-storm power outages. We had our power outages on Wednesday out in the Russell area. I'm not sure what was going on.
Well, that's convenient.
This is a power outage drill. How will you get your information and your air climate control in the event of emergency?
Yeah, I know the first line of the storm started moving through our area. It was about 11:30 midnight, something like that. And of course, the tornado warnings started kind of piling up, especially in southern Lauderdale and northern Clark County. And we did not have power at the house, and woke up sometime this morning and rolled over like, oh, the clock radio is bright and shiny and
flashing
and flashing, and the power's back on. So I thought that was pretty quick for the power folks to.
So it wasn't like a Home Alone 2 where the power,
I always keep alarms on that clock and on my phone and everything else. So I always have a backup plan.
Oh, man. See, now that's a good thing. You'd be a good pilot. Have an alternate course of action.
Let's go.
There you go. So there you have it, folks. It's a good, it's a bright sunny morning, and yes, you can now come out from your basement and your innermost room, and you can get near windows now.
Yeah, come out of the basement and then look up at the sun. Oh, it's light.
It's light. What day is it? Well, and glad that we didn't have any more damage than we did have. So yeah, just if all we have is school closures because of power outage, that's not too terribly. So, and thanks to all the crews that do that in the middle of the night, by the way, that get out there and run those chainsaws, clear those roads, and get those limbs and debris off of the road for us, and also that work hard round the clock to get our power put back.
You know, and that's the thing about it is last night we had, I say earlier this morning because it was a little after midnight. You know, we did have the tornado warnings, but those straight line winds that we had last night, I mean, it was tough stuff. And of course, the lightning, you talked about that as well, but pretty tough system that moved through. I was kind of watching it before we went to bed, and you could tell it was intensifying a little bit because it was around Jackson. And I was like, yeah, we could be in for a rough, few hours, and we obviously did have a rough few hours, but luckily it didn't get any worse than it did. So,
well, I live in a very dangerous home because it's well insulated, and you can't get the effects of really what's going on outside. It was very dangerous because you feel like you got a little false security there, just sitting there just kind of nice and casual. But it needs to be like the old farmhouse I was raised in, where the windows rattled and you could, the upstairs wasn't insulated and the water was leaking through the roof and dripping on your bed, that kind of thing.
Or be like the guy we always say when we're doing these weather updates, like, don't go outside. Well, he said don't go outside. I think I'm going to go outside.
Yeah. Tell that to all of the people with their cell phones over the last 2 weeks who have been outside filming tornadoes as they pass by. Have you seen all those different videos of that? I mean, hey, if daytime when there was a tornado and I was out in a nice open area like Kansas or Oklahoma, I guess I'd probably be out on the front porch filming it too.
Let me see if I can film this and send it off the news so I can get credit for it and be on the news and get noticed.
Well, now the funny thing about the tornado, photographers is, they're taking picture of debris swirling over their heads. Look, debris! Yeah. It's like I'm just waiting for one of them to be out there saying, "Debris, come!" Oh, the
cow,
and the camera goes down.
Another cow.
Don't think I'd be out there in a debris field.
No, I think I'm going to skip that one.
Mercy me. Well, it's Mornings in Meridian. We're glad you're out there. We want you to be part of the show, and you can do that by simply picking up that phone and do I say dialing? I don't say dial, do I? Dial?
Tomato, dial, call,
You can pick up the phone and dial.
Yeah.
Do I say that?
You can.
Have I been saying dial?
It's technically correct.
Wow.
I just say call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you pick up the phone and call, dial. There's people, there are people out there that don't know what that means. There are people on this planet that don't know what it means to dial a phone number.
No, don't know a lot more than just that.
What you do is you pick up your phone and you just thumb in 601-485-9191, 601-485-9191. That gets you right here in the phone, gets you right here in the show, in the studio here with us. The Mrs. and I did something yesterday that we needed to check off, and that was the guitar exhibit at the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience.
Cool.
It was, kind of a extension of the National Guitar Museum, and just a good. It was very interesting. It was one of those where a nice afternoon. It was a great afternoon to be in an air-conditioned building like the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience. And of course, the people there are so nice. But it's kind of interesting. I saw something. I kind of want your take on this. I don't want to say anything about it. I just want your take on it. But it's kind of like, all right, there's the guitar exhibits, all right? They show, the guitars of different eras and, the early electric guitars. And then they talk about the eras of the blues and the rock and roll and things. But then there's this kind of a general history lesson that's on the wall, where for different stations they have different little like 2 or 3 paragraphs about the era that sets the musical. So I want to read the first one, and I just want you to I just want your response.
All right.
So I'm not going to say anything. I just want your response. Here's it.
All right.
here, and it's just a couple paragraphs here. Well, let me get to the right one here. The first one here. It's called the first little thing shows the three ships of I guess the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. So it's the period of 1492 to 1600.
Okay.
It's called Exploration and Invasion.
Okay. And
it goes like this. And I took a picture of it on the wall there. It says, when the Vikings arrived in North America around 1000 A.D., followed by Christopher Columbus in 1492, they were searching for something new while exploring the unknown. Columbus, in particular, was looking for a fast way to sail from Europe to Asia, where goods like silk, porcelain, and tea were produced. Instead, Columbus found himself in the Americas. The land did not have silk or tea, but the indigenous peoples had other valuable goods, gold and cocoa, animal skins, sugar, tobacco, silver. Columbus took those items back to Spain, and the Spanish wanted more, much more. What started out as European exploration turned into invasion. The Spanish, followed by the English and the Dutch, took over the lands of the indigenous peoples across the North, Central, and South America. They did this by force, attacking the native peoples with horses and guns, which were new to the American continent. And I just want your reaction. This is in a guitar exhibit.
It's amazing how that kind of ties into today's times in a way when you think about it. If you read between the lines, if you get what I'm saying about the invasion.
Let me ask you this. How do you think the person that wrote this voted?
I was about to say. I'm just saying.
Oh, no. And again, this is not the fault of the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience. I mean, it's just I'm sitting there. I'm looking at my wife. I'm scratching my head. I said, "What's this got to do with guitars?" Anyway, and so then there's another placard, or as you move around, there's another one, this is called guitar. This is where guitars come in.
Oh, finally, okay.
Guitars come to America, and this is the 1700s and the 1900s.
Okay, all right,
that's period.
All right,
and this is how it started. I just want your reaction here. After invading the Americas in the 1500s and 1600s, Spain and England set up colonies throughout North and South America. Over the next 300 years, people from Europe, Africa, and Asia came to the American colonies, some by choice, some by force.
Oh, here we go.
Many early arrivals were settlers who came in the hope of buying land, getting jobs, finding adventure, and escaping things they didn't like or feared in their own countries. Others were brought as slaves for the purpose of providing free labor. Again, your reaction, sir. This is a guitar. Keep in mind, this is a guitar exhibit.
Why don't they just come out?
This is about guitars.
Why don't they just come out and say slavery?
Well, they did. They came as slaves.
Okay.
They said that to provide free labor.
Oh.
And it's talking about the periods of the 1700s and the 1900s to the 1900s.
Sounds like it should be like an actual history museum.
And the title of that little placard says "Guitars Come to America."
Doesn't sound like they're talking much about guitars right there.
I wanted your real reaction on that.
I mean, literally, it doesn't sound like you're talking about me. Like you said, no fault to the staff at the Max or anything. It's just,
that's all. This is
I'm talking a lot about guitars, man.
The person who has this exhibit had a message.
Oh, yeah.
And the people behind it. But it says then, from the outset, and no matter the circumstances, these immigrants brought their music with them. Okay, and the last paragraph has to do with music.
Oh, finally, okay, good.
Along with their instruments, records, and show. The Spanish soldier named Juan Garcia Talvarea was buried in 1576 in St. Augustine, Florida, with his guitar. You know, so it goes in to start talking about the music, but it sets it up very, very, very plainly that, you know, this they're setting a tone of the historic account in a way that I think is it's a wokeism thing. It's a wokeism thing, and I'm thinking, okay, really? I came to see guitars, and I appreciate the history, and you know, I understand we've had some good and some bad history.
Sure,
we've had some things, but you know, the final product is here we are now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you see, you don't understand, Mr. Burke. We are trying to convey the. I'm just imagining what they might say if I ask them about it, but we're trying to convey the time period in which this happened. It's like, well,
Go protest something.
how about? Oh, let's see. There was a. Oh. Can I read you one more?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. And of course, now we have the period of 1915, the Panama Pacific International Exposition.
All right.
Here we go. This is the development of music in our country.
Okay.
The Panama Pacific International Exposition was a World's Fair held in 1915 in San Francisco, California, to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal.
Okay.
The island nation of Hawaii had recently been annexed by the United States after a colonial overthrow of its monarchy, and its pavilion was a featured attraction. So we overthrew Hawaii. We did that. We did. I mean, yes. I mean, I say we. I wasn't there. You weren't there.
No.
We didn't do it.
No.
But
you have to pay the price for it, though.
There was. I'm just saying, folks. And if I'm just being nitpicky here, just let me know. I mean, I just found it interesting. I said I came to see the guitar exhibit, and I guess they wouldn't have wanted me to write it because I would probably have just skipped over a lot of stuff and said during the period of 1700 to 1900, as the population from Europe grew in the United States. Oh, well, then I'm just trying to ignore history, right? No, we're talking about guitars and music.
They ain't going to read all that. They're just in there to look at pictures and stuff. They ain't actually going to read all that. Well, some people will.
So anyway, and I do encourage you. In fact, there's going to be it's blues night at the Max tonight. So yeah, go out there and enjoy a good time and see the guitar exhibit. A lot of interesting guitars and a lot of information about the people. Had one of B.B. King's Lucille's in there. That was always nice, and it was a good exhibit, by the way. Now, don't get me wrong. I just found it interesting that that was there. So I just wanted your take on that.
A lot you can read between the lines on a lot of that.
Didn't even have to.
Yep, kind of right down there.
It was right there in the lines.
Invasion, slavery, and annex.
Overthrow the monarchy. Yeah. We like your island. We're taking it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Mine.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, so, it is what it is, I guess. But
brings a whole new meaning to a night at the museum.
I did. I did learn about guitars, and I learned about those overbearing, vicious, violent Europeans, and anyway, just saying.
It's everywhere, folks. It's written in your museums now.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Anyway, Mornings in Meridian, you too can be part of the show. 601-485-9191. This show brought to you in part by who?
Purvis Business Machines. And, Purvis is a great local company. Of course, their slogan, service, not excuses, since 1979. And, Jerry and Betty Purvis started the company back then. And, of course, they are still living by that slogan here today. Of course, Mr. Don Lucas does a fantastic job down there at Purvis. They're located at 4505 Highway 39 North here in Meridian. You can take a look at their beautiful showroom, or you can shop online at gopurvis.com. Of course, they've got all of those name brand quality office equipment pieces from Toshiba, CopyStar, Kyocera, Hewlett-Packard, you name it, they've got it. And folks, they're all about saving you some dollars. Lease return color copiers save up to 85%. 85% savings down at Purvis. And when you see a Purvis Business Machines item, you know it's a good quality item because it's got that red, white, and blue sticker on the outside. So call them today at 601-693-COPY. That's 601-693-COPY, or visit them online at gopurvis.com. Service, not excuses, since 1979. That is Don Lucas and the staff down there at Purvis Business Machines.
All right, coming up on the show, there's an event coming up, I guess, tomorrow involving the Railroad Museum.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be having guests come in the show a little bit later and talk about that.
Yeah. Miss LaWanda says a form of subliminal messages. Talking about the museum pieces and the messaging.
Well, it's an exhibit with an agenda.
With an agenda.
It's the exhibit with the agenda.
It's not a...
Good on you, LaWanda.
It's not a stormy agenda.
Ooh, watch it. Watch it. Oh, mercy me.
She sees dead people.
Who are you talking about? Stormy?
Yeah,
Stormy Daniels?
Yeah, you didn't hear that ridiculous part of her testimony yesterday?
You know, I am proud to say I raise my right hand and I declare I have not heard any of her testimony whatsoever.
Well, Hannity last night had, I believe, a congressman from Texas on. He's on the Judicial Committee, and he said, when they were talking about her testimony yesterday, I think it was the cross-examination, she's talking about paranormal activity at her house and stuff like this. Like, what does that got to do? What has this got to do with anything, man?
Kind of like these little things here.
What has that got to do with anything?
Like these little placards. What do they got to do with guitars? Back in the 1600s, when the horrible Spanish and English and Dutch came and they raped the land. Oh, wait a minute. They didn't say it quite like that.
Well, might as well.
And that's how the guitars got here.
We got to take a break. Oh, I love it. I love being free. For being out there tuned in to either 102.1 FM or WALTmeridian.com, YouTube. Don't forget Facebook. Don't forget X. And don't forget that WALT app that you can download onto your device and listen to our station all day long and all night long if you so desire. You do need to sleep sometime, but not between 7 and 9, please.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm Roger. He is Rob.
Yeah.
Maroon Day.
Yep, Maroon Friday.
Maroon Friday. He has got the Bulldogs on this morning. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Well, we just mentioned, of course, I think everybody knows by now that, especially if you are supposed to go to Clarkdale or Southeast School, you're not supposed to be there today because the power's out. Yeah. But all other Lauderdale County schools are open.
There you go.
So that's pretty much it. And you said late start in Enterprise, right?
Yeah, 2-hour late start down there in Enterprise. So, but no big shocker. Power crew is just trying to get everything back up and running, and trees getting cleared out. So, once again, tip of the cap to those folks this morning.
Tip the cap. Oh man, I'll tell you what. So before the break, you were talking about the Trump trial, but you said something about a little part of. A part of something about Donald Trump we don't always see in the media.
Yeah, yesterday, the Stormy Daniels testimony finally wrapped up, which has
paranormal, huh?
which has no relevance to what the charges are. But anyway, getting off that subject, she's done.
It was designed to embarrass.
That's
Donald
all
Trump.
it is. Well, the trial is set to resume this morning at 8 o'clock our time with the cross-examination of former White House aide Madeleine Westerhout. And the prosecution put her on the stand yesterday, and it kind of backfired on the prosecution because she basically talked about how great of a boss that Trump was and how great of a family man he was. There was one instance where Melania Trump texted her from, I guess, up in, what is it, the living quarters there at the White House where the first family stays or whatever.
Right.
It's like, hey, we're going to have dinner tonight. Barron's home. Whenever you get an opportunity to finish. She's like, I'll be up there in a few minutes. And, he would always talk about Melania a lot and about Barron, just a great family. But that's the part of Trump we don't get to see all the time.
Or nobody talks about.
Nobody talks about.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was on the stand just in tears talking about how wonderful Trump was and I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, you've smeared him or tried to smear him. Well, in his eyes, he's been smeared so much it doesn't even hurt him at this point. But you do this whole testimony with Stormy Daniels, and then you have this lady up there, and it was kind of like, oof. And now Monday, they have announced that Monday's the big day.
Monday.
Michael Cohen will take the stand. This is their big star witness, Mr. Integrity, Michael Cohen.
Let me ask you this: do you think the defense is ready for him?
Yes, sir.
You think they're ready for that cross-examine?
I mean, how many times has this guy lied under oath? And Greg Jarrett, who Trump has mentioned so many times, if you watch Fox, he's on there all the time. Great legal mind. He's a professor at George Washington University, and he brought up a good point yesterday. He said, you know what, if I was the Trump team, as soon as he takes that oath where he says, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and be like, well, sir, before we begin, haven't you broken that oath several times already?
That'd be the first thing. Show the reasons why that is true.
Because he's been thrown in jail for being a liar, and he still has more charges pending. And from Congress, by the way, for lying to Congress.
And I think they'll be ready to bear that out. And again, it goes back to what this trial really is all about. Not so much about a conviction.
No.
This trial has always been about occupying the airwaves and embarrassing Trump in the process and keeping him off the campaign trail.
Yeah, because this thing is entering day 15 today. So we've gone, well, not counting the jury selection, which that went about a week. So you're talking at least 3 weeks of this dominating the headlines, because when you watch either Fox, CNN, MSNBC, or whatever it is, they have reporters in the courtroom, and you'll see like a little ticker that ticks across the screen with updates, and then on the side of the screen they'll be like, well, this was just said in the courtroom. This person Trump just walked into the room. I'm like, good Lord, man. And and I know it's a 24-hour news cycle. I get it. but this is thoroughly dominating the daytime portion of the news. Now, when you get to night, depending on what network you subscribe to and get your feed from, I guess you would say, it's dominating the primetime headlines as well. Like I said, depending on what news you go to.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's
and it is a chance for the loyal Biden media to take all the things they can out of it and continue to paint the picture of Trump being the dirty dog to the already Democrat voters.
yeah,
I mean, so it's not like, I don't know if that's going to change anybody's mind on their viewing.
yeah.
So it's just amazing how this is all playing out here.
Yeah, so they do the cross-examination of that former staffer today, and then Cohen will take the stand on Monday. So, but like I said, I think the Trump legal team, I think with all the other witnesses, they are kind of what they are. But with him, if this is their star witness, you know the Trump team has thoroughly prepared for this one. And like I said, I wouldn't say it's hard preparation, because what do they always say? If you're an attorney, you want to discredit a witness. Well, he pretty much discredits himself when he walks up to the stand, period, in a paragraph.
Yeah. His testimony will be, it'd be like that little machine they used to advertise, a little, what was the thing, the little slice and dice, and kind of.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're gonna slice and dice his testimony.
Well,
up
and they showed,
cross-examine
and I saw this yesterday,
his credibility will be
that Michael
shredded.
Cohen is trying to make money off of this. He was on, I think, either X or one of the social media platforms doing some kind of a live video feed thing or whatever, little chat thing, and he was wearing a T-shirt. This is a witness that is going to be testifying for the prosecution on Monday, was wearing a T-shirt with Trump's picture on it, him behind bars. And this is the star witness doing this by wearing that and trying to make money off of the situation. That's all he's trying to do.
There you go.
Keep his name relevant, make more money off of it, and then you wear a T-shirt with Trump's picture on it in an orange jumpsuit behind bars. And it's like Stormy Daniels in her testimony. She said, basically, one of the Trump lawyers said, got her to admit that she just doesn't like Trump, that, you know, I mean, just hatred, you know. So.
You hate him, so therefore, anything I can do to hurt him. So this is the basis of your charges.
Yeah.
And by the side, you don't want to pay back the money that you owe him.
I mean, but you have every legal mind that you can imagine that comes on all these networks, even some of the, and I'll be honest with you, there's been some that have been on CNN and MSNBC that have kind of said, you know what, this doesn't.
Oh, yes.
There's not a lot there.
Like,
I mean.
And again, we're getting, and I don't know, how does a judge like, what's his name?
Oh, Mershon.
Mershon. How does he sit there and just kind of, in good conscience, just tie up the legal system like this with this?
Well, I mean, he should have recused himself from the beginning, but he's not going to do that because he's a Biden donor. That's
and
on record.
And probably shares the hatred for Trump.
Exactly.
So how does that make you feel? You know, you got somebody who's sitting there in the bench and he's got the same hatred.
Well, and every time the Trump legal team tries to make a motion, he just, without even thinking, he just goes ahead and strikes it down every single time without even a semblance of thought. He just goes, boom, nope, not going to do that. And it's like this gag order thing. Right now, that whole thing is more or less just fodder for the media to gobble up, which the whole thing is, but the gag order especially, because Trump is basically in a standoff with the judge, basically daring him, okay, I'll write you a check or two for $5,000-$10,000, you know, for a fine, but basically I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and throw me in jail, and guess what? That's going to make my poll numbers go up even more, and I'll be even more popular, and I'll be more of a martyr than ever to a lot of folks.
At least the judge, I think, knows that.
Yeah, and
That's
I
why
think
he
that, and I think that's he's talking real tough, but until he does something and puts Trump in handcuffs, because this is what this is all about, Roger, is having Trump in handcuffs behind bars in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it's a guilty or not guilty verdict. But if they could get him behind bars, just to have that picture, like, look, this is what you're voting for, a guy that's behind bars. And even if he's found guilty, they also can use convicted felon Donald Trump. That's really the goal here, because we all know that when it goes to appeal that it's going to get overturned, whether it's after the election or whatever it might be. But that's the whole goal here, is convicted felon Donald Trump. whether there's any water in the case or not, that it holds any water. But that's the whole goal here, is to keep him off the campaign trail. Another one too, and then to have that next to his name, convicted felon.
It's Mornings in Meridian. If you'd like to weigh in, you give it a call, 605-991, 601-485-9191. Put you right here with us. We're going to take a moment and let you know that I was glad when I was at Wings and Tails earlier this week. I looked across the table as I was walking by, and there was our good friend, our good neighbor, Mr. Jeffrey Wilson.
Yep, Jeffrey.
Thank you for being part of that event there, Jeffrey. And again, we just thank you for helping people save money on their insurance.
Absolutely. And you might need to get in touch with your insurance agent today, potentially, with all the weather that just moved through last night. Might have some storm damage. You might need to get in touch with your insurance agent. And if you're looking for a good, trusted agent here in town, Jeffrey Wilson's the way to go. State Farm Insurance, of course, you can save on average of $889. That's average when you combine your home and auto insurance with Jeffrey Wilson State Farm. And, of course, a lot of other different insurance plans for a lot of variety of items there with Jeffrey Wilson State Farm. And, of course, we mentioned Jeffrey is a staple in our community. He's at a lot of different events, sponsors a lot of great events, and he is just local through and through down there at State Farm Insurance. Go by and see him today. He is located at 2401 Highway 39 North here in Meridian, located right across the street from the Heroes. I'm talking about the Power Crews. They're at EMEPA.
Aren't they, though?
And, of course, you can always call Jeffrey at 601-483-8253. That is 601-483-8253. Like a good neighbor.
Yes.
It is Jeffrey Wilson State Farm, or as that other guy says, neighbor.
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 I liked it. I said neighbor, and he had a good time. He liked that. 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How are you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
How are you up in Sicolina?
Well, I'm up in Adam, had my 2 cups of coffee and my little coffee cakes with it. So my dog's fine, and I'm fine. And
Do you have any? Did you have any limbs to pick up in your yard this morning?
Well, don't ask me. I hadn't been out yet.
There you go.
Nope.
I don't know. I haven't been out yet. I like it.
You know, I think the Lord's taking care of this area through his Sicolina for some reason. But so far, I've been spared, only hit one time, and that was during Katrina when he got my roof of my building and had it replaced. And since then, I've had nothing but little limbs down, stuff like that. And
well,
seem to be in good shape, far as I know.
You know, I was looking on a map at that I'd gotten about from the county, and apparently, Sicolina is part of the Twin Cities up there, because you're just a stone's throw away from Mosley.
Yes.
Or is it Mosby or Mosley?
Mosby.
Mosby. You're just you and Mosby are just right there, close together.
Mm-hmm.
But we hear more about Sicolina than we do Mosby.
Yeah. Well, that's because we get much more popular and better folks and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just intrigued with some of the lesser-known little crossroad communities that I didn't know about. So I was studying the map, so I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's Moses Crossroad. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
they've had some damage pretty bad from time to time in their particular area also. But but anyway, I'm trying to think about Friday. It's Fun Friday.
yes, it is.
I think about our government and the way Congress is going. I can't understand how we got in this shape. Now, you got one man, Donald Trump, has been trying to make America great. He got bashed for wanting to do that. He's trying to get production and everything made in America. He got bashed for that. Now we've got a Joe Biden that's opened the borders, and our country is just inundated, overrun with our enemies. He's catering to our enemies.
Oh, yeah.
What in the world is going on with Congress? our representatives, I can't understand how they allowed him to get this far without the charges bringing treason against him for destroying our country.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world's going on with our own our representatives, people that's supposed to keep America safe, keep America great? They are failing by leaps and bounds.
And not only does Biden not keep his own house together, but now he's telling Israel how to run theirs.
I know.
That's what's sick. A man that can't run his own country is telling Israel how to run their country. And, you know, they're talking about don't hurt the women and the children. Where do you think the seed is planted in these people that is trying to destroy Israel and America? I think I told you about the teacher that was teaching 3 Palestinian students. And, I mean, this way down in the 5 and 6 and 7-year-old kids. Mm-hmm. Their comment was constantly, kill the Jews, kill the Jews. That's all they wanted to talk about in that tender age. That's a seed like a cancer that's planted in the young kids. It goes to the men, the women. The women are the ones that's producing men, aren't they? Well, they bound to be the ones that's producing this cancerous thing that wants to kill Jews and destroy America, because look at our colleges. They're full of these Palestinian students. They're uprising, trying to destroy our own country, and we welcome the men. They get preferential treatment in the Ivy League colleges. So isn't that internal destruction, self-destruction? I can't understand the representatives that we elect people to make America great. They keep increasing national debt. It's done past, $34 trillion. The interest rates on it is over $1 trillion, probably annually, maybe even more than that, shorter time than that.
You just have too many people in this country, too many voters, Benny, that don't see things the way you see them.
No.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm old, dumb, and slow.
No, not at all, sir. Not at all.
I'm not that slow. I can see the country being destroyed.
Yeah.
And our young people and those voters that's asleep when they go to the polls. But let's face it, what choices do we have for the ones that are running anyway? They seem to be falling right in line. They don't seem to be the ones we think that's going to represent us.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be too concerned over doing anything but increasing the national debt and paying all our enemies money. That's what I don't understand. Why would we give humanitarian aid, they call it, to Palestine, just trying to destroy Israel? They also are trying to destroy America. Let's keep paying them.
Yeah. Well, it's and then like I said, I was reading this morning from some of the script that's on the walls at a guitar museum, and you're getting this kind of the delegitimizing our country, that kind of rhetoric, that kind of woke rhetoric, just on the walls of a simple little guitar exhibit. So interesting stuff there. Interesting. But you know what? You at least you have the faith, and you and I and Rob have the faith to know that there's someone ultimately in charge of this, and hopefully it'll all work out. Not hopefully, but by faith it will work out.
Amen to that. But I'm a little bit mad and jealous. That man, 104 years old, still parachuting, jumping out in an airplane.
Yeah.
And I I give up my goal because I stopped at 94.
Well, but yeah, I remember the video. You did a good job coming out of that plane at 94. After years and years and years of riding in good airplanes and not jumping out of them, you finally jumped out of one of them, which I don't get that. But anyway,
well, that shows you how little common sense I got sometimes.
Well, I tell you what, there's one thing I do know you have sense about. You know where the ladies are, and they're going to be at the VFW on Saturday night.
Well, yeah, they tolerate me, or anyway, I try to dance with all of them, whether they like it or not. They don't complain.
Spoken like a true red-blooded American. I try to dance with all of them.
There you go.
Amen to that. Well, enough foolishness and seriousness, so I hope
Foolishness and seriousness.
Had a little mix of both of it, but it's Fun Friday, so I hope things will improve, and I hope everyone will have a great day.
Oh, that's a good one, Benny. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you checking in with us. 601-485-9191. That's our talk line. You get a kick out of that, don't you?
No matter
You
how
get a charge out of that, don't
no
you?
matter how things are going in life, when you get that,
Yeah.
you're good.
Morning
You're going to be good.
Yeah, it's all right with the world. Morning's in Meridian. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning.
Morning.
Glad you're here.
I enjoyed you reading the information from the guitar exhibit.
Oh, yes. I thought that would be an interesting discussion.
Where do you suppose that package of information was formulated?
I don't know, but I don't know that, but that would come from whoever is sponsoring whoever's organized that exhibit.
I see.
Yeah,
They may get that from AI, you reckon?
it could be.
And this is my opinion. I've never darkened the doors for the very reason you're talking about.
Well, no, I don't want to send the message. Don't darken the doors, because the MAEX, that's a great facility we have here. The Max.
However, I am, and for that very reason, I don't care if they had a chainsaw exhibit down there.
That'd be a good one, actually. That'd be good.
The whole idea of stardom and the left coast is to sell and indoctrinate children to sway them to be that kind of people.
Yeah.
And I think it stinks.
Well, I just, I debated whether even to bring it up there, but I thought it might be an interesting discussion. I really just wanted to see if I was reading it wrong. I just wanted to read it to Rob and just kind of see if it's just my imagination or whatever.
No,
but
I know not so far back we had one left coast individual that moved into the area that decided to run for Congress and didn't make much of a show.
Mm-hmm.
And when asked about his unfortunate run, the comment was, "I guess Mississippi's just not ready for my kind of politics yet."
Mm.
Thank God.
There you go. Well,
and that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I know you have a fine appreciation for the history of the guitar, so you should check out the exhibit for that reason. I mean, I know you would appreciate it. But
oh yeah, I enjoy guitars, Cadillacs, and hillbilly music.
Oh man, there you go. Well, I wonder what song I'm going to dig out of the stack next.
There you go.
Hey, thanks for the phone call.
All right, bye.
We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about another museum, our Meridian Railroad Museum.
Yeah,
there's some things going on there that we need to check out.
And Fox confirms the plans for Michael
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the two best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. So glad you're out there and tuned in. In just a moment, we're going to be visiting with some representatives from the Meridian Railroad Museum. Some things going on tomorrow you need to know about. And but in the meantime, we're going to talk about some other things you need to know about. Who are we? Well, I'm Roger B. Say hi to my main man from Meehan, Rob Atkinson.
Good morning, sir.
You drove in and dodged all the limbs and trees and squirrels and everything else,
A
right?
little bit of Frogger this morning, so we made it.
Oh, good. Ribbit. Oh, man, I tell you what, we were so glad that you folks are out there. And, of course, there's some power outages. The crews are working on those and hopefully have everything restored, everything back to normal for the start of school next week. Just in time to close school for the summer.
I'm about to say, graduations,
Exactly. All right, before we get started with our guest, let's make sure that you folks know where to go for a good deal. Remember, not all Toyota dealerships are created equal.
Well, it's like we always say, there's no deal like a Doc's deal, and that's Doc's Toyota up in Philadelphia. Of course, you can call them at 601-600-3786. Of course, they are open right now, and, of course, great service department as well. And you can also take your vehicle by there on Saturdays, 8 until noon there to get it serviced and keep it in tip-top shape. Of course, they got a great inventory online of new and pre-owned vehicles at docstoyota.com. Of course, Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, you name it, they've got it at Doc's. And once again, that number is 601-600-3786. They're located at Highway 16 West in Philadelphia. And once again, there is no deal like a Doc's deal.
All right. I know we've got a caller trying to ring in. If you're out there, just hold on to this a little bit because we're going to visit with some guests first, and then we'll take some calls after that. But let's welcome to the microphone, and we'll start with ladies first. We'll come down to the far end here. She's not on camera, but say hi to our beloved friend, Ms. Ann McKee.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for listening in. We got good stuff, good stuff to tell you.
Good stuff. You know, that's our new slogan, I think.
We got good stuff to
Mornings
tell
in
you.
Meridian. We've got some good stuff to tell you.
Good stuff.
Also with her is railroad enthusiast and all-around hockey reporter guy, Mr. Zane Royal.
Go Stars!
Ah, he's got his jersey on,
And along,
I'm not on camera.
along. Oh, good night. You got to wear something that thick to play hockey, I guess so. You're going to get hit with those pucks all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mercy. And I did not even realize that he is part of the staff of the Railroad Museum, but also with them is distinguished pediatrician, physician, pilot friend of mine. Say hi to Dr. James Purdy.
Good morning, Meridian.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
When you said distinguished, he kind of went, wow.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make in my mind, make sure I paid my doctor bills.
I was about to say.
30 years ago.
Well, actually, I'll make a slight correction. I was an obstetrician gynecologist. Now I'm an operating urogynecologist.
Okay.
Robotic surgeon.
That's it.
Still having fun.
See, and that's, we were obviously, my wife was pregnant with our son, and you were treating her then, and that was great. And by the way, Dr. Purdy gave me the tickets to get out on the flight line to see George Herbert Walker Bush arrive in Meridian back in 1991. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
I
thank
had
you for
a
that.
chance to say goodbye to Air Force One on my local transmitter as a pilot, legally talking to Air Force One as November 669 Sierra Papa.
Yes, I remember that airplane. And oh, by the way, Secret Service still wants to talk to you about that.
They changed the numbers.
No way to catch me.
Oh, that's fantastic. But Dr. Purdy, welcome to our program.
Thank you so
And my son is 32 years old, lives down in the Keys, Florida Keys, enjoying life and working hard.
Yeah, I feel like I made a contribution to Meridian for many, many years.
You surely did. You surely did. But now you're still making that contribution because you are evidently. How did Ann get you roped into being a staff member of the Railroad
say
Museum?
no, but I've been interested in trains since age 3.
Okay, a while yet. Okay, good.
My dad introduced me to Lionel trains.
Uh-huh.
And then from there we went to layouts, and then we went to HO gauge. And probably that's the most common gauge to be used anyway. And as a result, I stayed in that. And then I became aware several years ago of the Railroad Museum and the Railroad Club and of course the club has been at several places, and its home is in the museum. And our goal is really to contribute to the Railroad Society, the history of railroading in Meridian, and introduce young people to the aspect of model railroad, which model railroading can exist in all gauges, all scales, throughout their life. It's something that you can do in summertime and you can do in wintertime.
Well, see, and I remember when my first HO trains, it was the only train set that I got, and I was like 10 years old, and I loved it. So that's miniature trains. That's listed like the old-fashioned, kind of the caricature railroads. It's
your
like
O-gauge.
Yeah,
type.
it's very.
Well,
much,
actually, this is 1/87th scale of the real thing.
Yeah, it's like the real thing, 1/87th scale, which means if you don't pick it up, your dad can step on it and get mad and also break your HO scales. Yeah, that's a whole other story. We'll talk about that later.
Story another day.
But tell us what's going on. It's tomorrow, is that right, gang? So tell us what's
That's
going
it.
on.
National Train Day tomorrow at the museum from 8 to 3. 9 to 3. 9 to 3.
National Train Day, 9 to 3. That's tomorrow. And what goes on during that time? What's going to be our National Train Day? What does that mean to those that are going to be coming to the museum?
Well, first I must mention train talk. Dr. Purdy is an expert on train talk. I had to learn that when I first came, and I'm hanging on pretty good. But tomorrow, you talk about children.
What's an example of train talk? Just
Train talk. Well, at first, we talked about layouts, and that sounded a little naughty to me. I don't know. I had to really, really listen, and then no, I'm just silly. It was just learning all of the terms and the different type model trains and rail fans. Oh my gosh, rail fans are real people. They are real. And children who are rail fans, children who come in to see everything we have right on our little miniature train and then do not want to go home. How many have I seen in the last year and a half since I've been there? Kids that they hold on to the door. Their moms are trying to get them out the door, and they're kicking and screaming. I don't want to go. You're right.
That is so true.
It is so true, and they're gonna.
hanging on to the door.
Oh yes,
That's right.
Or our
Exactly.
train that we have outside, and it's a heavy train. It's been donated to us, and we've used it many, many times. And it's part of the fun when we open the museum up to all children of all ages. And it's fun to watch the children get on it. I know I have a granddaughter that her goal was to be on the engineer part of the train.
Yeah,
And she waited and waited and rode and finally got it where she could ring the bell and ride the train around. You couldn't get her off.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go. That's just too rich. That's fun stuff. So you first learned rail talk, and of course Dr. Purdy helping you with that.
Yes.
But now you're fairly versed now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I can talk railroads all day long, and of course I already was well versed in the history of the rails in Meridian, and I can tell you that entire story. But we don't have time this morning.
I understand.
But if the rails had not come in here, we today would be known as Siwash Junction. And I just say Meridian is easier to spell.
And there'd be like a broken down old general store that's not inhabited.
That's about it.
With some kudzu growing over it.
Just
That's what we would
that's
be.
it. We would not have developed as a city, and so we have a lot to thank the original pioneers, our ancestors, who hung straight on these trains and supported them during the down times and the glory days. People who really
and agreed unanimously, like the Ragsdales and the Balls. And the people
there's an exception there.
They all were in agreement where the railroads should go
That's
and where the
right.
stations should be. Yes, I agree.
As a matter of fact, we are telling railroad stories in the afternoon on Saturday at the festival about our storytellers are coming out, and Mr. Ragsdale would be there. I mean, there's no way you could keep him out the door.
He's a cantankerous fellow, though.
He really is, but he did good work. He put in the first saloon in Meridian.
If you're going to have real service, you got to have a saloon.
Got to have a saloon. Got to have a saloon. But it's just a wonderful day of celebrating trains.
There you go.
And we have great news about the expansions and things that are going and that will affect our Union Station.
You're going to share that tomorrow, not this morning.
I can share it now.
Good.
Come on now.
You can help me with
Breaking news. This just in.
Well, of course, you may already know this, but the Amtrak passenger train
Yes.
is really a plus for Meridian.
Sure.
So many towns and cities, large cities, do not have them. And I became aware of that last summer when I went to a national convention. The passenger advocacies were at the 3 Foot, and they held a convention there. And they invited me, because we have the passengers trains here. And there was a room there filled with people trying to learn how to get them in their town. They were teaching them how to write grants, how to approach their city officials, how to get one there. And
So basically, just trying to get them to make a stop in their town.
Yes,
I
and
see.
pick up,
Okay.
and I sat there rather smug because we have 2 stops every day.
Mm-hmm. Show me your smug look.
I'll work on that.
I love it. No, but that's good. So what you're saying is that's how fortunate we are. So we
are,
have a stop.
What a tourism tool that is too.
Because we have people from all over the country that stop in to see us, and they're amazed at the quality of memorabilia that we have within the museum. It's the original items that the railroads used. You know, there's multiple railroads. We've got the Gulf Mobile and Ohio stuff, the Illinois Central, which I absolutely love, remnants of the Southern Railway, and these are both small objects, large objects. We have a huge switchboard, which I believe was in Hattiesburg, that ran the entire railroad system of the Southern from there to almost Birmingham.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, one of our goals someday is to actually get that functioning with one of our model railroads.
Very good.
Cool.
So
Speaking of model railroads, one of the railroads is a fantasy of we call high rail, which is what people think of with Line L, the 3 rail. And we want to expand that to have images of Meridian, possibly to Jackson. That's a future project, but it's actually working right now, and we'd love to see people come in and rekindle their memories of their youth.
Oh yeah, I think that might have
families.
been the first train I got was that little 3 rail. You know, that was a little Lionel's, just a short little piece of machinery there, but that was it. But then when I got the HO, that was the kind of more realistic, and that was exciting.
And then of course we got the functional HO layout too, which is fun. Yeah, people watch. We can run multiple trains at the same time on that.
All right, so this is at the museum.
Ooh,
this is for your enjoyment. So, what are times that people can go? I know we're talking about an event tomorrow, but normally, what are the hours where people can just come by the museum and find you or somebody's staff there and enjoy the museum?
Sure.
9 to 3, Tuesday through Friday.
Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 3.
And the first Saturday of the month, we're open in the morning, and that's in conjunction with Earth's Bounty.
Okay, so during Earth's Bounty makes
Doc,
sense.
I want to ask you, what's your favorite artifact in the museum?
I'd say the whole museum itself.
Oh, there you go.
It's amazing. It's hard to narrow down.
You can't narrow it down.
The velocipede is my favorite. And I don't know, I kind of like the name too. But it's cool because I've actually rode a velocipede.
And that's the one that looks like a...
It's a hand crank sort of bicycle.
Kind of a bicycle rowing machine type thing.
That
And
you
I've
can-
actually rode one, and they are cool.
It's amazing when you touch something and realize, this is circa 1900, 1890.
Right, right, yeah.
And there is a lot of documents we've been finding more and more of that date back to operating time schedules, work schedules for the railroads that came through here.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's for all ages. I mean, it's just wonderful to go see this stuff.
I guess what we need to remember is, and the reason you may not think railroads are so important, I mean, if you just sit there, though, you sit along the track as you're waiting a crossing and you see all the intermodal units go by that come off the train and get on trucks and get delivered to cities and towns. But back before there were trucks, before the highway system, This was primary transportations for people and goods for extensive travel.
And it is still probably the cheapest in terms of moving goods, mass quantity, to get to different destinations. And, Meridian is a great link right now from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and it continues to grow. We're very excited about that.
These containers that you see go by, they're stacked, and they've either they've just come off of a ship, or they're going to be attached to a truck, and that's going to bring the items in for the Christmas specials that you're going to buy. We don't think about the supply; we just think about the demand sometimes when it comes to goods.
Well, what's interesting in our museum that we don't have to recreate railroad sounds. We're so close to tracks that the railroad sounds are there all the time.
There you go.
Sometimes we have to stop conversation as they blow the horns, and it just gives me goosebumps to hear all this. We're actually there.
Freight and passenger, about how many trains we have come through a day, you think?
What, 25, 28?
Really?
Yeah, somewhere around in there. We've got 2 passenger trains, and the rest are freights that come through. We've got the Meridian Speedway is a very dynamic link between Dallas and Meridian that kind of connects the eastern and the western railroad systems together. And then we're also working on getting surface transport. The Surface Transportation Board's working on approval of a link between Montgomery and Meridian right now that will be able to link the port of Savannah with the rest of the United States. And we will get possibly as many as 14 trains a day that will come across B Street, across the tracks there, and into the yard, and then out to all points in the U.S. from there.
And we're lucky with that they're upgrading the rails to handle all this traffic.
Wow.
So
Well,
they're a vital link.
I saw that going on, and I'm maybe you can help me because I saw them doing some track maintenance in Chunky on the railroad line there. We stopped actually for a train to go by out there in Chunky, and but it was what's the black engines? Burlington? Norfolk Southern. Yes. But the engines were Norfolk Southern, but they were on what I thought was the Kansas City Southern route, so I didn't know what happened there.
The Meridian Speedway is the link between Meridian and Shreveport.
Yeah.
And it is a joint venture between Norfolk Southern and KCS.
So that's why I saw the black engines on the
and you see all kind of foreign power on that line. That actually when I was working in Greenville, South Carolina as a railroad drayman, I got put out of work because of Meridian Speedway opening up, because it changed once they opened and could run the intermodals through Meridian. It changed the whole transportation pattern. The containers were actually being grounded in Birmingham and carried over the road to Atlanta, Charlotte, and Greenville. And now they go all the way across, and they're unloaded in Atlanta and Norfolk and Charlotte and come across. So that it's less trucks on the road for that. And that's the same way with this container freight.
Efficiency of movement. But speaking of Chunky, I now have a grandson and his wife, and now a great-granddaughter that's 5 weeks old as of today. And we can go there, and every time we're there, we're seeing the trains go rambling by through Chunky. They're probably about 800 feet from the tracks.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I think that child's going to grow up being a railroader.
Well, see, and that has that effect, because I remember when I was 9, we moved to a home that was across the highway from it was the Seaboard coastline down in Central Florida. But boy, that train would come by at night, and my bed would just kind of rock a little bit like this, and the ground would shake a little bit. But you get used to it, and it was great. And I probably didn't obey the law too well when I went over and threw pennies on the track and got flattened pennies and things like that. But I did do that.
Well,
it probably helped traction a little bit.
A little bit.
We won't tell Brandon about that. Maybe he's not listening.
Instead of sand, you use pennies.
Yeah, pennies, and there was that nickel that time. Yeah, it flattened it right on out.
Let me just throw this in there.
Yes.
For our musical entertainment. We have Grayson Culpepper.
Okay.
And he is amazing. And he's really a prodigy. He's 14 years old, but you would think he's 35.
There you go.
And his expertise and his talent, and with accompanying him own self on the guitar, it's just really something to see. He will be there from about 10:30 till noon, and that's Saturday morning.
10:30 till noon tomorrow morning. We're there.
Correct.
It's tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It's going to be at the Railroad Museum. So, folks, put that on your schedule. 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock.
3. And the weather should be good.
Yeah.
The weather has been pushed through, unfortunately, last night at midnight.
Yeah.
And I just checked the aviation weather, and it looks good for everybody coming out tomorrow.
Doc and I do that. We check the aviation.
Check the
side.
weather.
Yeah.
Buddy's going to be there too.
Yay!
Buddy is telling his story of Shadow the Rail Dog tomorrow.
Okay, well there you have it. See, that's another good thing to come out and see. See Buddy and the Shadow of the Rail Dog.
Roger can get his picture made with Buddy.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's a good thing.
And I'm
That's
hoping that a project I'm working on I can show tomorrow, and it's just advance model railroading and consider model railroading, and also with model trucks and cars at work.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
See, I was trying to. I had an 8x4 piece of plywood. Now this is very simple, but I had a 4x8 piece of plywood, and I had got my oval track on it. And I started putting buildings, and as I could afford it, so
Creating cities.
A little city, and then I think I think high school happened, and then college and girls and
Girls,
A
especially.
plug for what we're talking about. This is, in a sense, multi-level integration of. We have electronics, we have art, we have scenery, we have painting, as well as railroading and running, and it's just all integrated, and people can just stop and do a little something.
Science and the arts coming together.
All together.
There you go.
Well, I must mention, I had a gang of fourth graders in this week.
Yeah, they used to be called a class, but
but now,
it's different now, isn't it?
they were precious, but they were on field trip,
sorry,
yay, field trip. And we love having them. But we were able to go down to Dr. Abney's layout.
Yeah.
That is the city, downtown Meridian. So, and even our visitors that come in from out of town, I will take them there and say, here, we're at the Railroad Museum, but you can go down Front Street and hit 22nd, and there you are at the 3 Foot or at Weidman's. And his layout even goes as far as St. Patrick's Church.
Okay, there you go.
And to me, because I'm not real good with directions, I can take them and say, here, 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 and here, and they can get there. But that's fun to see.
There you go.
And, that scale is large enough that I think younger children can appreciate it.
We've got a caller. I think they may have a question about that. So if you have a phone, you can kind of hear what they say. But caller, you have a question or a comment regarding the Railroad Museum?
Well, sort of.
Hello.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Yeah, you had a comment about the railroad.
I'll be 81 this year.
Oh, wow.
And
Congratulations.
My aunt and uncle used to live on that street right there at the Acme building where they made windows and TV building.
Uh-huh.
We used to sit there on that porch and watch all them old Jimmy Rogers type engine trains go up and down the track.
That had to be nice.
And there was one with an old green train. That was a pretty thing.
An old
But
green.
there's another little train come through there before or after the big trains. It was a little bitty train. It called a jitterbug. Y'all know what that was?
Doodlebug.
Jitterbug.
Doodlebug. Yeah, they had doodlebugs that ran to Macon, I believe. And they also had one that ran through Sucalina to Union back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically kind of a long-distance streetcar, a self-propelled two-car train that ran.
How about that?
And the Doodlebug would run on each side of the passenger train to give you more service options each day.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. All freight
All right.
and people at the same time.
Thanks for the answer. All right, thank you.
Now, caller, did you run down and stand beside the trains and watch them go by, or did you just watch them from the porch?
Well, I was scared to step on the track because they told me the train was electrified.
Oh yeah, back then electrified. That's a whole different thing. All right, good call. Thank you.
All right, yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, there you have it. A train enthusiast, again, watching them from this front porch as they went by Meridian. So pretty cool. All right. It's tomorrow. What is it, Doc? Tomorrow it's the Railroad Museum?
From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
9 to 3. Come out to the Railroad Museum and see some great railroad stuff. Shadow the Railroad Dog. And, of course, don't forget the music by...
Grayson Culpepper.
Riding the little train.
Ride the little train. A great day downtown at the museum.
And the children are free. Come in and ride the little train. Look at all of our exhibits.
If you need a child, they have free children down
Well,
there.
yes, so true.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that's different. I'm sorry.
But adults are $5. So,
Okay, $5.
Yeah. And the
And come-
donation is needed to keep the museum going.
Absolutely, and volunteers are needed.
Okay.
If there's a group listening in, you're looking for a project. It's the Meridian Railroad Museum. We are growing, and as we grow, we need more people to put on events like this.
All right. Well, the reason we want more railroads because less trucks on the road would mean less broken glass. But if you do get a rock off of one of those truck tires and it comes and breaks your glass, don't worry about it. Where do you go, Rob, to get that fixed?
You go to A&A Glass at 217 22nd Avenue, or as the cool kids at ALT say, Sela Ward Calhoun Parkway.
That's the cool kid.
The joke lives on. 693 Glass. 601-693-GLASS. Of course, Adam Carmichael and Adam McCree got the shop open right now till 4 o'clock this afternoon. Whether it's a rock or complete windshield replacement, they can do it fast for you down there at A&A, and they also work with the insurance companies as well. Once again, that's 8 to 4 today down at A&A Glass. Go by and see them. They've got 10-plus years of experience and replacing glass here in Meridian. 601-693-GLASS. That is A&A Glass here in Meridian.
All right. I want to say a big thank you to Ann McKee. Thank you for coming in. Anything else before we let you go today?
Yes, I would just like to mention we have space that we allow or ask or invite people to come in and hold their small meetings like DAR.
Like how many people? Say,
up to 35, maybe 40. We can seat them. We can set up tables.
Meeting space.
Good
deal.
Call and ask about that. Birthday parties.
Birthday parties at the train museum. That's perfect.
That's really, really fun. Lots of kids come out for that.
And I'd like to put a plug in for membership. We'd love to have people join as a membership. There's various advantages, and a regular annual membership is only $40 a year.
Hey, all right. Well, that sounds like something we need to do. All right, Dr. Purdy, good to see you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
And Zane, even good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Go Stars.
And B, good to see you.
It's always great to be here with you guys.
And we will take this break, and we'll be back with more of Mornings in Meridian with Roger B. and Rob. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back to Mornings in Meridian. Roger along with Rob.
Morning.
Happy birthday if today is your birthday. Paul David Hewson is 64. You might know him as Bono. Or Bono.
Bono. Yeah.
Bono.
Tomato.
Tomato. And the late Mother Maybelle Carter, 1909, born this day. Well, she could pick a guitar. By the way, she is featured in the museum there at the Max in the guitar exhibit.
And don't forget, it's Mother's Day weekend. Mama.
There you go.
We love our mamas.
That's exactly right. Don't forget that. Let's see. We got to get there. We got to make sure, make plans. Got to get the restaurant.
Don't forget that.
My mother, if you don't mind, can we have dinner out on Saturday so that we don't have to fight on Sunday
We're
crowd?
Cooking for my mom Sunday.
Oh,
we're not doing the restaurant thing.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
Yeah, we're team effort. We're all cooking on Saturday.
What you have? What's she having?
I think my wife's going to do one of her world famous roasts.
Ah,
so good.
Okay, well, sounds like a good deal. All right, hey Debbie, you want to go over to Meehan for Mother's Day?
Come on.
I'm telling you,
We'll charge $10 at the door.
10 at the door. So glad you're out there, folks, and we've got a caller on the line. But before we do that, we do need to talk about one of our sponsors. And so hang on there, caller. We're going to get right to you after we talk about
Southern Business Supply.
Billy Adam Calvert.
That's right. The folks down at Southern Business Supply, of course, they've got 124 years combined experience. I think they know what they're doing down there at Southern Business Supply. Local, family-owned and operated for nearly 40 years, of course, servicing all of Meridian and the surrounding areas. They carry office supplies, janitorial supplies, those spring water coolers, break room supplies, and you can even shop online. I know Charles always talks about that with the restaurant, too. You can just shop online there at southernbusinesssupply.com, and they offer next-day delivery on most office and janitorial supply items as well. And they even have an in-house designer on staff for your decorating needs. So if you're looking to decorate things at your office, they've got one of those on staff there as well.
No, I think I can decorate myself. I think I can pick out stuff. Yeah, right.
That duct tape looks really good on the wall.
Yeah,
So go
I
by.
think I better go with the professional.
Yeah, I think so. Go by and see them. They're open right now there at 5685 Dale Drive in Marion, right across the world-famous Wayman Newell Bridge there in Marion. And buy local, folks, because the money stays right here. And say no to the big box stores and say yes to local, and that is Billy Adam Calvert and the folks down at Southern Business Supply.
That buy local thing, it makes so much sense.
It's a beautiful thing.
Invest with people that invest right here.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful,
wonderful.
We're going to have a press conference with Donald Trump here soon and say, how do you feel your chances are in the case there in New York? All right, we've got a caller on the line. Let's do that. Let's go to the phones. Thank you for holding. Welcome to our show.
Oh, Lefty here.
Lefty.
We've named him, and now he's dangerous. I'll tell you.
Well, Harris has got him a nickname, so I guess I might as well get one too.
I know it. You got one now. I was gonna call you Toe Bar, but well, Lefty. Go with Lefty.
I tell you, some things just don't go away. I'll never live that down.
You won't live the pulling the Volkswagen with a rope without somebody in the driver's seat of the Volkswagen.
At 15, you think it can work.
Well, now if your engine's powerful enough in the tow vehicle, the Volkswagen will follow you.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be pretty when it gets home.
That's right. It may have a few flat marks on the tires, I guess.
Yeah.
Might have to have that front end realigned.
Well, I thought I'd call in and say I'm going to try to make it through the weekend without the wisdom of Paz.
Well, you can, he's probably just resting up for a good delivery on Monday. Yeah.
I just wanted to comment about. I've been listening to all this crap on the news about Trump, and they're trying to make him out like he was the only one that agreed to enter into whatever they did, and. Why is she not on trial as well? Doesn't it take two?
Well, it was a business transaction. If it really happened, it was a business transaction.
Well, weren't they two consenting adults?
Which is that not like an illegal
let me ask you
business
this.
transaction?
Hey, let's compare it to Paula Jones and Old Bell.
Well, you
did
see,
he ever get tried for that?
now
'Cause
look,
it's the same damn thing.
Here's
It's the same thing.
here's the good thing. Here's the good thing about this, and I thought about this, and I'm glad you brought it up. This is no longer a big deal in American politics because, thank you, William Jefferson Clinton. Thank you for your his.
And I still love Hillary.
Yes. So it's kind of like. You kind of like, I dare those that are Democrats that want to stand up and use the moral argument. There's one there, but that's not for them to use because of their two-term president, Bill Clinton, who pretty much introduced, adultery in the White House is okay.
Yeah. He never got tried for that. He was never even brought up on charges against.
All depends on what the definition of is.
And I still love Hillary. Because I don't want her to get me.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they're
first
really,
of all,
they're really chasing it's just so lopsided and one-sided, and it's just.
There's one thing we know in
trying to make
politics.
the biggest mountain out of a molehill.
There's one thing we know in
even if
politics, Lefty. There's one thing we know. Trump is no saint. We get it. But guess what? Joe Biden is no saint at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Based on the evidence we have of.
Joe Biden is abbreviation POS.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. So it's not. It's now. We've gone past the spotless character argument now on either side. It's a matter of who's going to be the best in the foreign policy world, in the local economy world, in protecting our border world. Who's going to be the best in office to make America safe and great? And, of course, that's what the argument is now. Forget about character at this point because I think there's stains on both sides.
And let's take the moral part of this out of here, too, because when you look at the...
You got two records to compare.
Yeah, well...
Which one's better?
And here's the other part of this, too. When you look at the letter of the law, she signed an agreement to keep her mouth shut, right?
That's right.
And took the money.
And
so
she made money off
and
of
she
it as
made
well,
and she
knowing
made money off of it and broke the agreement. So in reality, by the letter of the law, he's a victim.
There you go.
Bill O'Reilly thinks it's going to get tossed.
Well, the jury probably won't be able to make a determination, and it'll get thrown out, and it probably won't get retried. Yeah, that's Bill O'Reilly's take on it.
Well, that's the take on that case, and then when you look at the one in Georgia, that's going to be postponed so far that it's going to be well after the election, and the one in D.C. is the same way. So now they're kind of like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
He's going to be out in the campaign trail free.
They're actually going to have to go vote.
Because you don't know what day it is.
Yeah. Well, now they got to figure out how to get the machines to work exactly the right way.
Anyway,
I'm going to go after this, but the other thing that I was going to bring up is the arrogance of Joe Biden telling Israel what to do. I'm telling you right now, this man just never ceases to amaze me.
Well, there's always been a little bit of influence from America on how Israel conducts its policies. That's nothing necessarily new. What's new is it being public that the president is. This is not back channel stuff. This is in public. The president coming out and saying Israel needs to do things this way and do things that way. And that's like, just.
Schumer need to start a club or something.
And I can just hear Netanyahu thinking, well, I'm not sure how you say all those words in Hebrew. Anyway.
He doesn't give them much clout, that's all I can say. But,
yeah.
if they deny Israel the weapons they need, you really have to wonder, well, which side are you really on, Joe?
Yeah. There you go. Good call. Well,
anyway.
Be sure and tune in next week when you'll hear Lefty say, sure enough, a bumper jack really is a bumper jack. All right, there you go.
You got a can opener if you got a bumper jack.
There you go.
All right. Hey, good to hear you, sir.
Y'all have a good weekend.
You too. All right, appreciate it. 601-485-9191.
And, of course,
puts it on the fender.
And you saw yesterday where the interview resurfaced from 2019 with PBS where he said, Biden, that is, saying, Israel is our strongest ally. We'll give them whatever they need. Blah, 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 blah. Just this, and I'm like, wow, how things have changed.
Well, that was before Biden was president and had pro-Palestinian Democrat possible voting people demonstrating on liberal college campuses.
Well, if you want to see a good clip, I know we don't have time to play it on the air this morning because it's very lengthy. Just go search Sean Hannity's show from last night on YouTube or wherever and watch the comments of the great one, Mark Levin, from last night. You will have a fired up moment if I've never seen one.
Always appreciate Levin for his calm demeanor. And anyway. No.
He said, "Who the hell are you?" I was like, "Whoa!"
Is that what he said?
Yes, about 10 times.
Have mercy. Hey, folks, I tell you what, if you want some just a chance to go and just kind of chill and listen to some good common sense, I guarantee you most of the people that you're going to find there at the Magnolia Restaurant, sitting there and enjoying a nice breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whenever meal, you're going to find some good common sense folks down there. There's good people because they know to go to find good food. You go to a good place. That's Magnolia Restaurant.
Now, I tell you what, I got to brag on the wait staff there real quick at the Magnolia Restaurant. I went by a few nights ago and got a to-go plate after a ball game. That's kind of one of my deals. And, boy, I tell you what, the staff was working hard over there the other night, and good wait staff, and just wanted to brag on them real quick. They do a great job. But today is Friday, folks, and you know the tradition. Fish Friday. That's right. They got the fillets on the menu today. Of course, red beans and sausage over rice with a couple of vegetables. How about good old hamburger steak with onion and gravy? It's so good, so tender. And chicken wings. They've got fried chicken. Boy, the menu just goes on. And, of course, the Biggie Burger with fries. And got a lot of great po' boy sandwiches on there, too. If you want to get a sandwich to go, you can do that. And, of course, you can always start your day with a long-haul breakfast item there at the Magnolia Restaurant. Just off of exit 150, they'll start serving that lunch menu at 10:30 this morning. And call them ahead at 601-482-0259. That's 482-0259. Love the staff over at the Magnolia Restaurant.
Mornings in Meridian. We'll take a quick break. Come back. Stay tuned. There's more up ahead.
They call me Mellow Yellow.
taste so sweet. Now his guitar's Cadillac, hillbilly music.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Dwight. Do check out the guitar exhibit today and tomorrow before it leaves town at the Max.
And read all those nice messages next to it.
And check those woke historical accounts while you're there, just for fun. Let me know if it's my imagination or not. Hey, let's thank Barber & Son Plumbing for being one of our sponsors.
1123 26th Avenue, and they sell every type of plumbing part available. Folks, always support local, and especially Gayla Gartman and Gary Barber and the staff. They're third generation. Whether it's your do-it-yourself or you're leaking a little confidence with your project, they can come out and fix you up right. And if the water's not flowing right, well, you need to get in touch with Barber & Sons Plumbing. That's 601-482-7023. Once again, at the corner of 1123 26th Avenue.
That's Barber & Son Plumbing.
Barber.
That's the Pirates plumber.
Yeah.
Barber. Hey, with that for today, have a good weekend. Go to the Railroad Museum tomorrow morning and enjoy a good program there. And just have a great weekend. Remember, God bless. And buy local.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
Say goodbye, Rob.
Bye-bye.